Well, well, well. Let's see if this will work. Goodness gracious, that's loud still. How'd it get? There we go. Okay. That's not too bad after all. Righty, right. Well, hello. I don't think anyone's really here yet, but it's whatever. Fake it till you make it, as a good friend says. Let's see. Goodness gracious, my internet's wanting to tank all of a sudden. Of course it is. Be all fine and dandy. Alrighty. So, I mean, title says it all. I guess today we're making a D&D character, mostly as a way to dip my toes into the world of streaming, and also to help out a friend who's learning how to play. The big thing we're gonna do today, I just said that, losing my head. We're gonna be, let me switch over to the main one. There we go. We're gonna be making my, one of my classic characters that I tend to use in everything that I need to throw something together quick. It's just a simple dwarf fighter. So on the left here is the form fillable D&D sheet. It's like the first link that pops up when you look up D&D 5th edition character sheets on Google. Super helpful. And on the right here is the 5th edition SRD. So if you look up, it stands for System Reference Document right here. If you look up 5e SRD, it's the second link. You want the one with the 5. The other one has a lot of fan-made stuff in it. Isn't always allowed in your GM's game, I would assume, because some of it's not tested at all and just plugged in there. So this is the System Reference Document is bare bones rules. It's just gonna cover just enough really to get you playing. But let me pull up the order list so I know how to do this. I make characters a little differently than it suggests in the book in order, but we'll do it book order for easy sake. So first up, it wants us to choose our ancestry or race. We're gonna pick dwarf, like I said, so I should explain what I'm doing. Up here is our little index, so we could actually probably just scroll down to character, yeah, but clicking it's more fun. So we scroll down to character, and then we want dwarf, because of course we do. So the first thing, we're going to put dwarf right up here in the race category. And not all, but most races have sub-races. In the SRD, we just have the hill dwarf. So on the document, I'm going to put not just dwarf, but hill dwarf. So if it matters in the game, we'll know. It does matter because it gives us a score increase, but we'll get to that. So, dwarves have a bunch of different traits, as you can see here. Every one of these bold things is a different trait for one. The main thing we're looking for is ability score, speed, not size, speed. And then anything after that is going to be an extra trait that'll help us out. Age and alignment and size are not most important thing in the world. So, ability score increase. So as a dwarf, we get a +2 to our constitution. I'm going to note that right here, just so I don't forget. This will change later, but for now, it's a good placeholder. So, age, they're considered young till they reach 50, and they live on about 30 years. Obviously, if you look at it, there's not really a age section on the front page, which just explains why it's not really that important. But if we do go down to our second page, where it kind of gives us our description of our character, there we are. So we're going to say he's like 70, like 25-ish, equivalent of human life, I guess. Right. Alignment. Most are... Okay, so alignment is actually up here on the first, even though it's really not used that much. Let's see. So, most dwarves are lawful. They tend towards good with a strong sense of fair play. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put lawful good. This just means, like, lawful versus... There's lawful versus chaotic and good versus evil. So, lawful means you follow the laws, you do what's right within the bounds of the laws. So, like... You're not really a fan of stealing to feed somebody that's in need or something like that. Chaotic is more about doing what you want, like the id in Freudian psychology, just doing what you're compelled to do at that moment. And then good versus evil is pretty self-explanatory, but I tend to think of it more as what's the word? I forgot the word all of a sudden now that I'm trying to explain it. Self-interest. So evil is self-interested, and then good is more community-minded. So lawful good is fine. We follow the rules and we care about the people around us. So then size is... Oh, I thought size was here. Size does not really matter unless you're doing larger characters, because a small character and a medium character take up the same amount of space on a grid map. Let's see. So, between 4 and 5 feet tall and average 150. Sure, we'll say that. We'll say 4'6", 150 pounds. Not tough there. And then, let's see. So speed, our base walking speed is 25, but it is not reduced by armor. So speed will go right here in the named slot. So 25. If you prefer to count squares, this could also just be 5 squares. If like you're just tracking that, some systems do it that way, some people prefer. But a lot of things in D&D are based on feet, so it's easier to keep it like that. Alright, so our first skill, Dark Vision. Right down here, features and traits. I'm just going to copy this word for word from the system and paste it right here. So Dark Vision, we can see, and then I'm going to cut that out because that's just flavor. So we can see in dim light 60 feet as if it was bright light, and in darkness as if it was dim light, which just means we see in caves well, obviously. Dwarven Resilience, we're resistant to poison. So we have advantage on saving throws against poison and resistance to poison damage. So 2 different kinds of resistances actually. Dwarven Combat, we're naturally proficient with battle axes, hand axes, light hammers, and war hammers. Tool proficiency, we get one of these artisan tools. Artisan is like a craft skill, so we can get a smith's tool, a brewer's kit, or a mason's kit. I'm gonna pick a mason's kit. What the heck? Sounds like somebody's doing some work around my house. We're gonna do a mason's kit, so if there's ever any questions about like stone or how a building is made, I can look into it. We'll go over what proficiency means in a moment. Oh, speaking of stone, we get stone cunning. We get advantage on, we get double our proficiency bonus whenever making a check about stonework. So, maybe we don't need Mason's tools. I forgot that that was a part of it. Yeah, let's switch it over to Brewer's Supplies then. And we'll just be... Let's do Smith's tools. We make our own tools and weapons and stuff. And then we also have stone cutting naturally. And then languages. So languages go over here. We're just gonna put languages, common and dwarven. Pardon me. Okay. Let's see, what's next? Okay. So then we get to our subrace. Ability score increase. Excellent. We get a bonus in wisdom. And then dwarven toughness. Put this in traits as well. We get an extra hit point per level, basically. Because we start at first level. And we gain more every time we level up. Hope that banging's not coming through too bad. It's a little obnoxious here. So, but in hit points, we're going to put a +1 for now, so we remember. Okay. Next is our class. So, we go back to our SRD. We back click to characters, and we can scroll down and click classes, but I'm just going to click it up here. And we're going to pick fighter. So, this looks like a lot, but we're only looking at this first slot right now because we're building a first level character. So, level first. So, right up here, class and level. Put fighter 1. Oh, let's put our name up here. There we go. And then, pause from the class real quick. So, background we'll get to in a minute, but experience points, if your game is using experience points, you start with 0. If it's not using it, you can leave it blank or put like a not available or whatever. We're going to put a 0 just for filling out everything we can. Okay, so back to the class. We're at first level. We get a proficiency bonus of 2. So that goes right here in this little circle, +2. What proficiency is it's your ability to do a skill. Think about who you are as a person. Do you know how to drive cars? Well then, if you had to make a driving roll of some kind in D&D, you would get a +2 to that because you are trained in that. But do you know how to fly an airplane? Probably not. So if you rolled like a piloting roll, you wouldn't get that +2. If you know how to fly an airplane, let me know and teach me. Okay, so that's our proficiency bonus. Next, more features. We get a fighting style and second wind. So let's scroll down. Oh, more features. Okay. Let's see the fighting style first. That'll be easy. Okay, fighting style. We get a particular style of fighting from one of these options. There are more options with more handbooks, but again, we're just using the SRD. So archery, we get a +2 attacks with ranged weapons. Defense, with armor, we get a bonus to our armor class, which is our resistance or the score other creatures have to hit us. Dueling, we get a bonus damage with using one-handed weapons, so like practicing dueling. Great weapon fighting is a bit more complicated. When we roll a 1 or a 2 on the damage die of a two-handed weapon, we can re-roll that damage and take the new roll. So if we were using a great axe, which is a d12, and we rolled a 1 on the damage, we could re-roll it and possibly get a better roll. But no matter what, we have to take the new roll. This one's pretty good if you plan on doing that, but what we're going to pick is protection, because we want to be able to keep our party safe. I would say defense or protection is great. The only other one is if you're going to wield 2 weapons, two-handed fighting is going to be your number 1, because there's so much more damage you do around, even with just adding your ability modifier a bit. But we'll get to that. So we're going to pick protection. So down here, features and traits, we're going to add fighting style. Oh my goodness. Protection. I hope my keyboard is not too loud. And so what that means is whenever somebody is getting attacked near us, we can use our reaction, which is part of our turn, to make them make the attack at disadvantage while holding our shield. So I'm just going to, again, copy this, and I'm going to put it in little parentheses, and now we know. So then we also get our second wind. Again, I'm just going to copy these. So once a turn, once a rest, we can use a bonus action, which is, again, part of our turn economy, to regain a little bit of health. So, you know, like, think of those, I'm trying to think of a good scene. I think it's in one of the Rambos where he has the huge cut on his arm and he breaks a bullet open and puts the black powder along the wound and burns it to cauterize it. That's what you're looking for, is this way of like taking just a moment away from the battle and you just amp yourself back up. You make yourself a little bit less weak, vulnerable. Okay, let's scroll back up here to the rest of our class features. Hit points. So we get 1d10. We get hit dice and hit points. We get a d10 per fighter level. Let's see. So right down here, we have 1 because we're level 1, and our hit die is a d10. So on a short rest, whenever we're taking a break in the middle of the day, we can roll hit dice equal to half of our... We can roll hit dice to regain health on short rest during the day, and we get all of these back, the ones that we use after a long rest, so like sleeping for the night. Then for our hit point maximum, along with our 1 we get from being a hill dwarf, we get 10 plus our constitution modifier for first level. So first level, you get the max. From then on, you roll this, add your constitution modifier, and for us we had a 1 as well to get it. So first we're going to put plus 10, so that's plus 11 total. We should just we'll keep it that so we know it's split up. And then again, like I was saying, we roll for our health afterwards. Alright, let's see. Other proficiencies, this is where we're going to put these ones. So I'm just going to copy these all for the moment. Oh wait, see, actually, just these. We're going to copy those real quick and put them here. So you might see, oh hey, we've got armor, all armors and shields, weapons, simple weapons, and martial weapons, and tools, none. Well, that last one's simply not true, because we have tool proficiency. Oops. We have tool proficiency from our race. So we can add smithing tools right here. You're going to say, well, we also get all these weapons and stuff from the combat training. All of these are encompassed in simple and martial. Really, these could just say all weapons, but it doesn't hurt to keep them separate. So again, real quick. So proficiency in armor is a little bit confusing. I know we get this bonus when we roll. So proficiency in armor just means we can wear that armor without taking a detriment, which is fine. Like, that's good. We don't want to have pain from wearing our armor. For weapons, though, we do get a bonus, and you'll see that in our attacks here in a moment. But next is our saving throws. So we get strength and constitution. So these little dots help us remember which of our stats we get what from. So a strength saving throw would need to be made if you're trying to like avoid being pushed over, or maybe holding up a door as it's crushing down. You can make a strength save. So we would add our strength score and our proficiency score together to get this. We'll get to our scores in a moment. And then constitution is often used to resist like poisons and stuff. So we're hardy and we're strong. And then we get skills. We have to choose 2 skills from this list here. So the first one I'm going to pick is perception. Perception is super important. It's about half the rolls you make in most D&D games, it feels like. Being able to see what's going on is super important. The next one, we've got acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, and survival. So I'm going to pick athletics because as a dwarven fighter, I'm probably going to be performing feats of strength, and I want to have that little extra bonus. So trying to flip a table to start off a bar brawl, or trying to pry open a old door that's stuck, those kind of things. So I think, I almost forgot our equipment. So right here, we have our equipment. We start with the following additional equipment. So we can do chainmail or leather armor and a longbow. Let's see if we can pull up those over here real quick. Let's see, rules, combat character, adventuring. There we go. Okay. So, armor. No. Here we go. We just want to reference this table. All that other stuff y'all can read if you want. So we can get leather armor, which gives us a 11 start plus our dex for our armor. I'm having my dex modifier be higher than 2 at the moment, especially starting out. So this would make it 13 at total. So we're going to go with the chain or chain shirt or chainmail, whichever it was. Let's hop back there. Okay. Chainmail. So chainmail is 16, so we put right up here. Chainmail. We get a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. I already said we want to use a shield, so we're going to do that. And I'm just putting martial weapon here now. We'll pick one in a minute. A light crossbow and 20 bolts, or 2 hand axes. See, range is important. And as a fighter, we're not going to have options. So you can throw hand axes, but the crossbow is going to give us a better chance. And we're going to put the ammo. Not all games track ammo, but you never know what you're going to be playing in. And then we get the Dungeoneers pack or Explorers pack. Both of them just... Oh, hey, Mona. How's it going? I've just been talking to myself for a little bit. I don't know how bad the delay is on this, so I'll have to wait to see. Oops, I clicked off the thing. There we go. Oh, my music stopped. Why did my music stop? There we go. Probably just hit the end of the track. I hope it hasn't been dead too long. I forgot where I was. Oh, dungeoning. Oh. We build a babe with this sheet? Definitely. Definitely a little dwarf fighter. Young and ready to get out there and adventure. You're just joining in, I assume. I might have missed your first message, but you're just joining in as we're getting to equipment. Do you have a preference on Dungeoneers pack versus Explorers pack just from the name of it? Let's see if we can find it while I'm waiting for a response, because... See, adventuring. We'll just open up a new tab. It's not going to kill us. Equipment packs. There we go. Super easy in the SRD. Alright. Dungeoneers versus Explorers. So, these have prices because you can buy them at like shops. Dungeoneers is going to be backpack, crowbar, hammer, pythons, which are like, if you've ever been rock climbing, that's what you hammer in to like hold yourself to the wall and stuff. Or you can also use one to like lock a door if you hammer a nail, like it's like a big nail, like hammer it to lock the door. Torches, a tinderbox, rations, a water skin, and a rope on the side. The Explorers has a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days rations, and a water skin with rope. So one's a bit more out and about, one's a bit more deep in the dungeon. As a dwarf, I think Dungeoneers pack would be better. Let's see, where were we? There we go, fighter. So we're gonna grab a Dungeoneers pack. Actually, you know, we were gonna pick that one, but instead to our sheet, we're just gonna grab this. Let's see, backpack, crowbar, and we'll type in hempen rope. 50 feet rope. Okay. So let's see. Equipment. Yeah. All right. So now we need to go pick out that weapon. Nope. Adventuring. Weapons all the way down at the bottom. And then we'll just click weapons table. So we get a martial weapon. So these are simple melee. And then here we go. Martial weapon. Oh, I always pictured dwarfs as using hammers. Always, always, always. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick this warhammer right here. So we'll change this to hammer. And so it's going to go in our attack slot as well. This is our first weapon. Hammer. So a warhammer. All weapons use strength unless they say finesse. If they say finesse, they can use strength or dexterity. So our warhammer, our attack bonus is going to be our strength +2 because we are proficient. We know how to use a hammer, and we get our proficiency bonus up here. And then our damage type is 1d8 plus our strength. You can see right over here it says versatile. That means if we ever wield the hammer with 2 hands, we get to roll a d10 instead of a d8. But we use a shield, so it probably won't come up too often. Let's see. And then we also had a light crossbow. So let's go up here. Simple ranged weapons. So a crossbow, I know I said every weapon uses strength except for if it says finesse, but also any ranged weapons use dex as well. So this one is going to be dex +2 for the attack, and then for the damage it is also going to be a d8 piercing. So right here it's going to have a range, and it has ammunition and two-handed. So all of these are effects of how the crossbow affects our combat. Get those put in. So ammunition means it requires ammunition to be fired, obviously. Range, so as long as you're shooting at something within 80 feet of you, you roll normal. If you're shooting any further than that, up to 320, you roll at disadvantage, which means you roll 2 dice. But we're not here to learn how to play the game. We're learning how to make a character sheet and some of what these rules mean. Loading means every turn you can shoot, and then your next turn you have to use your action to load. And then two-handed means two-handed. So the crossbow is good for a shot at something running away if you think you can take it down in one turn. If you think it's going to take a couple turns and it's going to have a chance to keep running, not the best. But it's there. And then what else is the other thing we got important? Armor and a shield. Okay. So let's jump back up here to equipment and go back to armor. So even though it's adventuring gear, a shield is actually under the armor table right here. +2 to armor class. So we'll start there. So our AC gets a +2 no matter what else we do to it. And then we got chainmail, which is a 16. So we don't get any other bonus besides the shield. So that makes our armor class 18 to start out with, which is not bad for a first level character. We also have to have a minimum of strength 13 to use that. So we need to note that somehow here, but at the moment we can just keep it in our mind. But if for some reason, if our strength ever fell below 13, say we got sick or something, we would, I don't remember what all this stuff is. There's so many rules for armor if you're not able to wear it, but I'm not going to go into it right now. The other important thing is it gives us disadvantage on stealth checks. So right down, we should put that, let's see, right here. That'll keep track of it for us. Disadvantage on stealth. So chainmail armor is loud. Whenever we're trying to sneak through a dungeon, we're going to have a harder chance because our chainmail is going to rub up against itself and make a bit of a noise. Close these heads again. All of this has weight. I'm not going to calculate that right now, but you're welcome to do that for your campaign if it matters. Alrighty, and then we did the armor, so that I think we're on to stats now. Let me double check our list of stuff. Make sure we're covering everything. Yeah, let's take a break here from the list of how the book wants to do stuff to do stats. So, some dungeon masters will let you roll your stats. Some of them will give you different things. We're going to do a temporary array, or the standard array, I mean. So that means, let's see if I can remember it off the top of my head. It's a 15, a 13, a 12, a 10, 2 10s, and an 8, I'm going to say. I got to look it up real quick. Give me just a second. A 15, a 14, a 12, a 10, and an 8. I was close. Okay. So 15, 14, 13, 12, and 10, and an 8. So each of these is going to be the stat for one of our, or a score for one of our stats here. These aren't really what matter. What matters is the derived score from those. I'm not going to... The math is weird. I'm just going to explain to you what each one of them is going to give us. So a 10 and 11 will give us a +0. A 12 and 13 will give us a +1. A 14 and 15 will give us a +2. 16, 17, a +3. The higher the score, the better chance we have of succeeding. And then, of course, an 8 is going to give us a -1. So we're going to put our 8 in the stat we care about the least. So we could do, this is also called like a dump stat. I'm sure you're familiar if you play any kind of RPGs. We're going to give it to charisma. And then we care about the modifier more. So I'm going to put the modifier in the big box because that's what we're going to be looking for when we're looking at our sheets. So there's disagreement about which is whichever makes you more comfortable. So then we've got the 8 done. Our boy is not charismatic. He's here to adventure, not to chit chat. Next is going to be a 10. So we are not... We want to be strong, dexterous, and constitutional. Intelligence and wisdom aren't going to be our big things, but of the 2 stats we've picked already, we've picked wisdom. So we're going to put the intelligence at 10 because we want to be able to succeed a bit more on those perception checks. Next is 12. We're going to keep going. So now we have to decide, do we want to be able to hit things better? So, because if we put the 13 in our dex, we will be able to shoot better, or wisdom. Actually, so now that I'm thinking about it, we could put the 15 in our strength, which would give us a +2. We could put the 14 in our wisdom. +1 would make it a 15. So we'd get a +2 to the score. And then we could put the 13 in constitution, also making it a 15, also giving us a +2, leaving a 12 for dexterity, which would give us a +1. And that way we have 3 +2s across our character sheet. Fine and dandy with me. So this is probably the most difficult part, is knowing where to put these stats. Your main thing is if you're a fighter or a paladin, or you're going to be at the front of your party, you're going to want a big constitution so you have better health, and you're going to want a big strength or big dex so you can do the most damage. If you are a spellcaster, you want to put your biggest number in whichever your spellcasting ability is. But now that we have our constitution modifier, we can get our health points. So we know our health for starting is 1 from being a dwarf, a hill dwarf, 10 for being a fighter, and 2 more, because of this right here, for being a constitutional fighter. So that's 11, 12, 13, and then we have 13 total. Let's see. All right, that has got us our hit points, and then we can start filling these stats out. So strength, our strength saving throw is actually a +4. We're just gonna put a 4, so it's still small either way. So yeah, +4, why not? Our constitution is going to be 2 + 2, so +4. The rest of these will be whatever the score is. You can fill them in, you cannot, that's up to you. We're not gonna for today. Athletics is 2 + 2, so it's a +4. And then perception is 2 + 2, so that's a +4 as well. So we will get more of these stats in a bit, but at the moment it's not important. Oh, lastly, we'll do this one as well. Passive wisdom or perception. So our perception is 4. Passive means it's just average. So our passive wisdom, this is just our general awareness of situations. If we walk into a room, it's like we naturally roll a 14 when we walk into the room. So if there's somebody hiding and they've rolled a stealth check and got a 13, we will automatically notice. All right. And then now that we've got that, let's see. Oh, do we start with money? I don't think so. Let's see. We get equipment from our background. Maybe that's where our money comes from. And we did our armor. Our armor class is 18. Excellent. Let's pull up the list again. Oh, personality and background. Perfect. Okay. So now we can close this again. Character, backgrounds. So backgrounds have a list of things from them, Acolyte languages, equipment, and suggested characteristics. Let's see, is there anything other than Acolyte? We'll do Acolyte then. So Acolyte means we've spent our life in service to a god or pantheon of gods. We worship. All this kind of stuff. So we'll go with the Faerun god. We're a follower of Moradin. So let's see, where does our background go? Character backstory, additional features and appearances, alliances. Let's put it in alliances. So we're gonna copy right here. Background. Acolyte of Moradin. Moradin, that'll be fine. If it's wrong, it's close enough. So, but the important thing is from being an acolyte, we get more skills. So we get insight, which is like reading people, knowing if somebody's lying or telling the truth, if they have good intentions or bad. We get insight, which is a wisdom skill. So again, 2 plus proficiency, so +4. And knowledge of religion. It doesn't say knowledge, but any intelligence score is a knowledge score. So if there's a question about a religion, +0 naturally, but we have a +2 more because we're proficient. So if we're trying to think if we know history of a certain religion, we will get a +2. But like say we're trying to know like what plants are good to eat or if an animal is natural around here, and we roll a nature knowledge, we're going to get an intelligence. We may be able to talk our DM into something else, but just for experience. Or history in there. If we're trying to find out the history of the world, we're going to just get a 0. If we're trying to figure out knowledge we have about our religion, we'll get a +2. And then additionally, we get a holy symbol, a prayer book or prayer wheel, 5 sticks of incense, vestments for our religion, an additional set of common clothes, and a pouch containing 15 gold. So we're going to copy all of this. Add a comma and put it in there, and we're going to cut out this little bit and just change it to, let's see, a silver hammer. The symbol of Moradin is a hammer, so silver hammer necklace. We're going to make it just a prayer book for simplicity's sake. And then we also get 15 gold pieces. So we've got copper, silver, electrum, gold, and platinum. 10 copper make a silver, 10 silver make a gold, 10 gold make a platinum, and electrum is this weird one in the middle where 5 gold is equal to an electrum. I don't know why it's below that. Maybe it's 5 electrum make a gold. I don't remember. They're a kind of weird money that's definitely more than silver pieces and definitely less than platinum, but most players don't even acknowledge them, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But for copper, silver, gold, and platinum, it's 10 up. So 100 copper is 1 gold, 10 silver is a gold, 100 silver is 1 platinum. Just little like things like that. Okay, we also get a feature for being an acolyte. Shelter of the Faithful. So we can perform religious ceremonies of our deity. So me and my companions can get free healing and care at temples, shrines, or other establishments of our faith. We must provide material components for any spells, and those who share our religion will support us at a modest lifestyle, which is a reference to another part of the book. We can also get other stuff where we might have a tie with a specific temple. Let's see, and we can get priests. We may be able to get priests assist us for non-hazardous stuff as long as we're in good standing while near the. It's just a whole bunch of if, ands, or buts. Read these; they might be important, but it's rare. Like, you're going to be out adventuring. It's not going to be often you're going to be super duper close to your temple. Oh, why is it doing this? There we go. Shelter of the Faithful. And if you need to, like, feel free to make a Google Docs of this stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, suggested characteristics. These right here. These are kind of what help us define who our character is going to be. So then our personality trait. Let's do an actual roll. So let's see. Let's see if I can make this. Why isn't there we go? Okay. Here we go. A little bitty dice roller over here. So we're gonna roll a d8. That's this one right here. A d8 is a dice with 8 sides. That's what d8 stands for. We'll do d8. Click that one up. 4. So nothing can shake my optimistic attitude. So he's a positive little guy. Let me move this right here so I can click it back. Clicker. Our ideal. Click the die, it goes away. Click a new one. 3. Change. We must help bring about the changes the gods and goddesses. We must help bring about the changes the gods are constantly working in the world. Oh, so that's chaotic. So since we rolled that, we're actually going to go back up here and change from lawful good to chaotic. Come on, brain. A bond. We're gonna get another d6. 3. I owe my life to the priest who took me in when my parents died. Oh, so we got 2 things there. We've got a I was gonna say a master, but that's not the right word. We've got somebody who is supporting us, like a mentor. That's the word. We've got a mentor, and then we also have a background note that our parents passed away. And then we have a flaw. What is our character's fatal flaw? 2. I put too much trust in those who wield powers within my temple hierarchy. We are a fanatic. But that's not a bad thing. In the world of D&D, it's fun to play into things like that. Alright, let's see. I think we're just about done. Background, oh, so next is equipment. We already did equipment. Oopsies. But, let's double check in equipment and make sure we don't get any more funds. Because we don't want to miss that. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Adventuring. Gear, coins. Oh, let's check on coins so we can. Pardon me. I'm sure now that we're talking about it that there is. Is there a search? Search. Starting wealth. That didn't work at all. Let's see what Coins has to say. Okay, here we go. So, one copper, 10. Okay, so an electrum is half a gold. Okay, that's simple enough. Maybe you can roll for starting wealth, and that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, not important. So we did adventuring gear. All right. So, I mean, there we go. That's our character. Like, let's go through and see. Oh, we forgot to put Acolyte up here. Oh, and we forgot a name. Let's, Acolyte is one of those words I have trouble remembering how to spell, where the Y goes and everything, so I'm just going to cheat. That's the best part about a form fillable one as well. Let's see. So, name. Let's see if we can actually get names on here. So, character. Dwarf. Does it have names? It does not have a names section. Okay, let's just name him Darty. Darty McHammer. That's silly. That'll be good enough. So this is let's see. Okay, so inspiration is, this is not something we can just get. This is something given to us by our DM. It lets us allow to reroll. Initiative, we rolled, our initiative bonus is our dexterity. So we get a +1 when we roll initiative. We currently have 0 temporary hit points. We don't need to fill those out. Let's see. I already forgot. Was it Darty McHammer? Of course it was. Okay. And then, like, all this other stuff we could fill out. So he has brown eyes. He's a hill dwarf, so he's not deep in the mountain. We'll still say he has pale skin. He has black hair. That's fine. See, and then, so this is like a little bit room for extra stuff. And then this last third page is for spellcasting. We don't need that. We're not a spellcaster. When we get to 3rd level, we'll jump to that for just a second and explain it. For fighter, when we get to 3rd level, we get a subclass that for every one of them is named differently. For fighters, it's a martial art type. But we get a subclass, and we might be able to pick one that can cast magic, but for just now, we don't need this page. So, I mean, there we go. That only took us, what, an hour? Yeah, just about an hour to make a character, and I was going had to look some stuff up in the middle. It goes a lot faster once you get used to it, especially whenever you don't need to copy all this stuff in, all this, like, these things, whenever you're playing, you can have these pages there ready to reference. Having all this stuff copied helps, but I mean, stuff like Dwarven Toughness, we don't need that in here. Tool Proficiency, we don't need to copy that in here because we've got it down here. When we get to this part, we're going to put in those other bits. We're going to do it in health. So, yeah. I'm happy with that. I think that went super duper well. Thanks, Mona, for joining, and anybody who watches this afterwards, thanks for watching in. The music you've been hearing this whole time is by an artist called Autumn Orange. You can find his Patreon linked below, and then he's also on Bandcamp and Spotify. Check them out. They're really cool. And then the art for my character, the little guy that's been right down here the whole time. This is done by my friend Allie, who you can also find in the description. on Blue Sky at You See the Hat, or on their website, RPG for You and Me. Check them out. All right. Bye-bye. See you next time.